Welcome, survivors. What we are going to be doing here is taking a little look at what I call H1Z1 Limited Edition. Now, this is not a new version of H1Z1 that's on the horizon. This is simply an alternate approach to gameplay that I've been toying around with and playing in the last few months. Because after hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing, I have found myself kind of hitting a rut with my gameplay. After getting on a new server, I find myself following this kind of formula, and within a couple hours I've kind of plateaued and there's very little challenges. So this was a way for me to bring back some of the enjoyment that I had at first with the game, starting with focusing on the survival aspect. And I like that they made the game H1Z1 Just Survive and kind of separated it from the Battle Royale, which, you know, I can understand the enjoyment of it and I have played it, but the Just Survive version is the thing that really drew me to the game. So what we're going to be talking about is basically limitations, and that's what I mean when I say limited. What I mean is self-limitations. They're going to have versions of the game, and they have some on the horizon that I'm actually rather excited about. The Nomad servers with the no base building and stuff. I think that's cool, and the base restrictions and, you know, some of the other things that they're toying with, I find rather interesting. But after a while, you are going to learn that learning curve and you're going to hit that plateau, and once again these changes aren't going to be a challenge. And I find that every time they've kind of tweaked the updates and stuff, you know, it's cool at first, but then you kind of, you know, pick up the, you know, variations and you get into kind of a routine. There are some though that, like the variety of zombies and the movement and stuff, that has actually kind of kept it fresh, as long as the zombie population is challenging enough, I will say that. And the lighting and stuff, that's been an aspect of the game that I think has been nice. I've actually had to pull out my flashlight, which is something I didn't have to do before some of the most recent updates. So self-limitations, it's up to me as the player to instill limitations on myself and not just take advantage of all that's available. You know, I don't have to load my plate up with everything that's in the buffet line. So here's where we're going to start, talking about storage. What do I carry? What am I allowed to loot? Where am I, you know, how do I, you know, carry this stuff around? You know, I mean, in the normal game, I spawn, I, you know, get a makeshift bow, you know, I make a satchel, you know, I find a backpack, military backpack, you know, build a base, you know, storage container, you know, and then boom, 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 and, you know, I'm dominating the wilds. Not with the limited edition gameplay. Storage. I personally will say this. Everything that I am going to present is optional, obviously. Based on your game style, try some, discard some, ignore some. This is what I've found has been enjoyable to me. I limit myself to the satchel. That means I use only a satchel. That means no backpack, no frame backpack, or military backpack. I did have an exception for a while there where I could make a framed backpack, but I have since limited myself even further. So I have to limit myself to what I can carry in my shirt, pants, pouch, and the satchel. That can present a little bit of a challenge, but I enjoy that. So what goes in the satchel and wherever else I can store things? Well, most everything I can use. I just place limitations on myself, you know, with certain things. But some of the main key components are supplies. The supplies that I really restrict myself with. For instance, no bow drill. For whatever reason, my guy never joined the scouts, so he never learned how to, survival skills out in the wild and stuff. So he's got to flick his bick. So not any product endorsement there. Just he has to use a lighter, or she, if I use one of those characters, I guess. But me as a player, he can only light using a lighter. So I have to find a lighter before I can even set fire to something. Now, of course, if I come across a campfire that's burning, or a furnace or a barbecue that's already lit, yeah, sure, I can use that. Repair kits, love them. Usually have half a dozen on me, in the old world. In the new world, with the limitations, I can only carry one repair kit. Now, if I use one, I find another one, I can just use the one and pick up the other one, but I can only carry one at a time with me. That presents a little bit of a challenge. Some areas you can find them pretty readily, so it's not that bad, but other times you're in the middle of nowhere and you have one repair kit, so you have to make a decision. Do I repair my bow, or do I repair my machete, or so decisions, challenge, extending gameplay. That's what this is all about. Now, this one might seem ridiculous to some, and I used to have it be 20, but I have since pulled back the reins and I've made it 10. I don't think I'll ever go any lower than 10. 10 is a pretty decent number. I can make a sleeping mat with it, an adequate supply of bandages and stuff, and other sundry uses. But 10 cloth, that is my limit. Now, I'm not like a crazy OCD about this. If I have 7 cloth already, and I come across a pair of pants and I shred it, and it goes up to 11, I'm not going to have a panic attack. So it's cool. But 10 is what I shoot for. Same with gauze bandages. I allow myself to have no more than 5 at any given time, and I don't have it on here, but I do restrict myself to not have any first aid kits or dress bandages. That's just me. So I have to really be cognizant of what I am willing to do, because I can't just run up on somebody's base and plop in a couple first aid kits and jump back in the fray. I have to be, if I have only 10 cloth on me and I only have 5 bandages and I'm getting, hammered by a horde of zombies, I have, maybe some wolves, or, I have to be careful. So, what is next? Food and water. You got to have them to survive. That's just it. So, the 4 primary groups that I'm going to address are what I allow my character to use. First, water. Stay hydrated. Very, very, very important, especially when you're jogging across, the map from one end to the other. You got to keep yourself hydrated. So I allow myself, now this is kind of like the limited version. I, at this point, am only allowing my character one bottle of water, and it has to be purified only. So I cannot pick up a stagnant. I cannot use an empty bottle and fill it with dirty water. I can't purify dirty or stagnant water. I must find a bottle with the white cap. Okay, so that might seem a little extreme, but I have found that to be, adds a little tension as far as hydration goes and stuff. I find myself very frequently getting down to 50 and 40 health, or hydration levels. So it kind of like, ooh, I gotta get something to drink now. Whereas before I'd probably have 5 or 6 bottles of water on me, no problemo. So now if I make blackberry juice or coffee or something, that counts. Okay, but I have to start like if I make coffee, I have to start with purified water, just so you know. The next thing is meat. I can have one meat, jerky or, steak or whatever. However, no wolf meat. Okay, no wolf meat. Hey, these wolves are all over the place, man. They are acting rabid. They are out in daylight and they are attacking, without any provocation. There's something wrong with these wolves, and I personally, even if I cook it, I'm a little leery. So I'm just joking. No wolf meat. Okay. However, bear, rabbit, and deer, sure, go for it. Likewise, not too keen on those packages of food. Always a little leery of government packed stuff. So I would rather avoid them. I'm going to stick with the canned goods. So no packed foods, only canned goods, and 1 can of food. Okay. Now if I make some survival stew, that stew you can make, or borscht or whatever it is, that counts. Okay, so that's that. 1 can of food, only canned food. There you go. Berries. Love the developers of H1Z1. Great move. Always have access to energy and hydration with those lovely berries. You can subsist on berries in the game. I mean, they are everywhere. However, it doesn't do a good job when you are trying to put some pressure on yourself and create that immersive kind of survival aspect, so it kind of does away with that. So I have to put a limitation on myself. I don't know, maybe I have, weak stomach, and if I eat too many berries, well, bad things will happen. So I have to place an extreme limit on myself. I used to say, I could have, 20 berries. Then I made it to 10 berries. And that's where I stick. 10 blackberries. Now I could put them in a bunch, or I can, have them individual, so I can, make the purified water into blackberry juice, that kind of thing. It's cool, but if I make the blackberry juice, that counts for 5 blackberries, so I have only 5. I have to drink the water and eat the remaining 5 blackberries, or make another water thing, but I have to be done with all the 10 blackberries in one form or another before I can get new blackberries. And I can only collect 10 blackberries one time per 24-day cycle. 24-hour-a-day cycle. Not 24-day cycle. 24-hour-a-day cycle. Little typo there. So on a day cycle, if I pick it in the morning, that day, that night, I can't pick them again till the next morning. That puts a little tension on it, but I like that. And so far it's been pretty good. So I've liked that limitation with the foodstuffs. Weapons. Hey, you gotta have weapons. You're fighting zombies and those crazed wolves, bears, and all the Bambis. And I'm not talking players. So what's up with that? Weapons. Man, it's like the Matrix, and sometimes you walk in a place and there's weapons just laying all over the place. Well, for my guy, only 1 hand weapon on my person. Not limited to these. This is just a potpourri of the weapons. Either I can make or I can find. Only 1. If I have a spear, but I'm like, I need some sort of edged weapon. I want to cut some meat now or chop down a tree. I need to get rid of that spear before I can get, a machete or an axe or a hatchet, or a combat knife or something. So, that there you go. That's pretty straightforward. Same with the bows. Love the bows. In fact, that's one of the first things I do is, get some cloth, get some sticks, make a makeshift bow, get some arrows. I don't need anything else the rest of the game. It's awesome. However, that just really skews the challenge for me. So I say only one bow, or not and or crossbow on my person. So I have to choose. Okay, kind of like the crossbow, but you know, long loading time and stuff. Although you have the scope, so that's kind of cool. But you know, the bow, you know, cool too. However, it doesn't stop there. Oh no. I only allow myself to use the wooden bow, no makeshift, and this is a recent kind of limitation, no recurve bow. So I have to find some twine before I can utilize a bow, or you know, I can find a crossbow. And also only 10 arrows. And it doesn't mean that I can craft 10 arrows and then I have, like, you know, 50 you know, sticks just waiting to break down into arrows on, you know. So I can only carry 10 arrows. You know, if I have a couple sticks on me, you know, to repurpose to something else, that's fine, but I can only, you know, that again is leniency, but only things dedicated really to arrows. 10 on my person, 10 arrows on my person. That is a really, I've enjoyed that. I used to have 20. I used to have a score of arrows, but you know, I found 10 to be, you know, I whittled it down to 10, and I found that to be more of the challenge, that I can shoot some, but then I need to get out there. So if I'm in a house or someplace and I'm shooting, I have to really be careful with my aim and be really aware of my arrow count, you know. So I like that. I like that limitation, and I like the bow. So you know, that one was tough to do because like those bows. Same with guns. Only one gun on my person, so I have to choose. Again, it's like the Matrix, you know, all this, you know, just load up. You know, it's ridiculous. So only one gun though. And to take it a little further, this is something I've kind of put on myself recently, and I've kind of enjoyed it. The limited edition play is something that I really feel it's kind of coming into its own with me, and I'm enjoying playing with these limitations. I can play extendedly and still feel that fresh challenge and decision making. That's where this one really comes in. Now, if I don't find a gun for a while, but I'm finding ammo, pick it up. Pick up a whole potpourri of ammo. I can have, you know, a handful of ammo for every type of weapon, every type of gun. But once I select and pick up and carry a gun, once I carry a gun, I can only have one clip worth of that gun's ammo on my person. That means, for instance, if I'm like, I have, you know, 45s, which I really like, you know, some, you know, 44s, I have, you know, 9mm and, you know, shotgun shells and 223s and, well, heck, all the weapons, all the ammos. And then I find a shotgun. And I'm like, okay, you know what, I have 6 shotgun shells. I have a full clip of that. I only have like 2 45s, 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'm gonna take that shotgun. I need to get rid of all those other, you know, bullets. You know, drop them. You know, put them in somewhere. You know, for someone else. But all I can have on me is a clip's worth of ammo. Now, if I had like 13, you know, ammo, or 14 ammo, 9mm, say, and, you know, 15 is the clip size, and I come across, you know, a collection of 2 9mm, bullets. I can take those 2, and then I have just a +1. Hey, I came out on top that one. But if I see, like, if they have a single bullet and then a grouping of 2, I have to take that single bullet. You know, I can't, you know, take over that clip unless that's what it is. You know, so again, it's leniency, but yet I'm not looking for loopholes. You know, that's the purpose of these limitations, is to challenge myself, you know. So I'm not going to write the answers on my forearm and, you know, cheat on the test. So this is a pretty good one. I kind of enjoy this limitation, because it really, the decision, you have to make a decision with this, like, okay, what is a better gun? You know, I have my preferences, but we're talking survival here, so maybe I do prefer the 45, but maybe I should go with that Magnum. You know, it has a better distance, and yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. Skins. Love the skins. H1Z1. Okay, it's kind of like, you know, my, not dress up Barbie necessarily, but, you know, like the old G.I. Joes with all the outfits and stuff from the old school days when you had the actual, well, I called them dolls. I didn't have any problem with that, but, you know, hey, that's kind of cool. I like that, you know. So I like to get in third person and, you know, look at my character. You know, what does he look like? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I like skins. So I have no problem using skins, but I put a little limitation, so it's not like I spawn and then I get up in my favorite outfit, and then I like to prolong and draw out the gameplay and the excitement. So it's not too bad. I can use skins, but, you know, this might be easier to see me do than for me to tell you. But basically, it's like this. Say I spawn, it's a fresh spawn, so I have my shirt and pants and shoes. That's it. Then I find a red cap. Yay, I got a hat. So to use a skin, like I want to use my black canvas Outback hat, like that hat. I think it looks pretty cool. I can't do it right away. I have that red cap on. So what I need to do is I must find the same type of item. I need to find another hat. Doesn't have to be a red hat, just has to be any other hat or beanie or something. You know, the same type. Can't find a helmet, gotta find a hat. Once I do, say I find a green beanie, I can skin the same type I currently have in my inventory with the desired skin and leave the found item. Skin the skin same type you currently have in inventory with desired skin and leave the found item. Here's what it is. I have a red cap. I want the black canvas Outback. I want to skin that red cap and make it into that black canvas Outback hat. I find a green beanie. So I could shred that green beanie. I could just take the green beanie and, you know, save it for later, you know. But if I want that Outback hat bad enough, what I'm going to do is leave that green beanie. I'm not allowed to do anything with it, but it enables me to skin the red cap into that black Outback. So in other words, it's almost like that green beanie was a black Outback hat, and I took it, quote unquote, and I dropped or whatever that red cap. So it's a little opportunity cost. I don't know if in words if it makes sense or not. But the same applies to anything, clothing, weapons, helmets, whatever, you know. If I find, you know, a helmet, I need to find another helmet before I can, you know, give it a skin, or, you know, whether it's another helmet or, you know, the skull, you know, the Wasteland skull or whatever. Same with the weapon. If I have an AR-15, I need to find another AR-15 before I can skin one of them, you know, with a wild style or something. So that helps kind of extend the gameplay and makes me look for things. You know, if I want, you know, to wear my Twin Galaxies hoodie, you know, I need to find another shirt before I can apply that skin. And then if I apply it and it's like, oh man, I really don't want this, I need to find another shirt to be able to change that skin. Now if I'm low on cloth, it's like I find a shirt, it's like, ugh, yeah, I guess I'm going to wait to skin. I really need that cloth, and I can shred the cloth, but I can't use it as a skinning opportunity. It might sound complicated, it might sound legalistic, but it's prolonged the enjoyment of the simple things. And now we come to it. Bases. Well, let's do it. No bases. And no, it's not a period of civil war. It is the post-apocalyptic era. And it is not the Thunderdome. So, these structures are great. Have at it. Build them up, have those massive, monolithic looking structures and, put 55 vehicles in them. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that route. So I cannot build any structures. Cannot build any structures. No shacks, no shelters of any kind, no tampered ground to stand upon, no deck structures, nothing, nada. Oh, that's great. Now, this is something, that they were talking about in a future update, and I think that'll be great. But you can do that now. You don't have to wait for the developers to come out with servers that have this. I love the decay of the current decks. It's kind of keeping the land clean and being environmentally sound. And also, it's not cluttering up things, but also it's having people kind of think before they build, I think. But for me, no structures. However, that doesn't mean I can't set up a home base somewhere. I can use barricades to set up a secure place in a house or an existing structure, so I can board it up. I can also use shovels, create storage containers, make furnaces, barbecues, workbenches, anything else. So, I just have to be able to hide them somewhere. So, I have to be wise and limit myself where, I can to extend the gameplay. And this is one way that I really think gives a lot to that sense of survival, is not building a base. At one time I could do basic shacks, but I wasn't allowed to repair them. But I've just wiped that off, and now just say, well, I can hole up somewhere. I can have a storage container. I can have some loot and stuff that I keep there. However, it's out in the open. It's not behind secure walls. They don't have to blow a door open to get to it. I guess they can go through a barricade. But there are places that you can place things. That can keep them kind of hidden. So I have to think about it and be, wise about how I play. Now, I personally like playing on the PvE servers. That's fine. And, one of the things I like is interaction. Here's the thing. If I meet a friendly player and they drop at my feet a military backpack, there was a time where I'd be like, oh, no, I'm going to blah, 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 and try to explain it all that good stuff. And then there was a time I'd take it and then I would just drop it somewhere else. But you know what? I've changed my tune. It is better to give than receive. So I want to give that player the blessing of being generous and giving. I'm not allowed to ask for things, supplies and stuff. Can you have a military backpack and, all this stuff. If I get desperate enough, I might ask, hey, do you have a can of food, or something like that, or do you have some purified water, something, But if they offer, whatever they give me, I will take. Now, if they give me like a ton of stuff, I might decline some of it, or I might just take it and then I might repurpose it and give it to somebody else, or put it in someplace, that others can access it readily. But if someone gives me a military backpack, from that point I can use that military backpack. So that's a way I can upgrade my conditions from satchel to backpack, military backpack, or whatever. Same with supplies. If they give me some ammo or another gun or something, I carry it and maybe use that ammo and stuff, and then pass it along to somebody else. So it's not legalism, it's just a different strategy of playing the game. Now, I did this in the past. I did a 3-episode series. My computer isn't the greatest, so there's some lag and stuff. But if you want to see this more of like a gameplay, where I'm kind of going here and there and everywhere, and sort of narrating along my rationale for doing this and that in more of a game setting, and not such a sort of a seminar sort of thing with the PowerPoint. I do have an H1Z1 Just Survive, series. I think it's like 3 episodes of Learning to Survive Again, and that's on my YouTube channel. If you just type in my Steam name, Dragon Raid, it should come up. Should be good. I have some others on there, but that's the one that I kind of enjoyed doing, and I thought would maybe contribute in a way to the enjoyment of this game that I've really been pleased with. So hope this has been helpful, and game on and just survive.